Okay, let's wait for some time and then maybe we can start in a few minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's begin. Um, Previously we had done lesson 3, and I had also told you that I shall. We had done certain parts of lesson 3, and I had asked you to cover the rest of it on your own. So probably by this week I'll send you the notes for the rest of the chapters as well. Okay, and today we will start with lesson 4, right? And I believe this is the second last class that we have. And after this, we have the last class, which is on the 14th. So I'll try to finish the last chapter in that class. Yes?
मैम इंट्रा ग्रुप कॉन्फ्लिक्ट और इंटर ग्रुप कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ये दो टॉपिक रह गए थे ना लास्ट क्लास में
हाँ
चैप्टर
हाँ हाँ, तो वही मैंने बोला
वो
था
नहीं
कि
कर
आई विल see, it is not that difficult, so I was suggesting that मैं आपको notes भेज दूंगी, and then you can go through that once. And we have a revision class happening on 21st May, which I believe is from 3 p.m. to which will start from 3 p.m. and it will go until 8 p.m. So I was hoping that we could have a discussion over there in that time for the topics which we could not cover in the class. So that's how I want to go about it, right? The topics which I couldn't cover, maybe I would revise that in the revision class that we'll have. Okay. And here I'm trying to cover all the new concepts and those concepts which are, need some kind of assistance. Okay. So that's what I intend to do.
ओके
Okay, great. So what I'll do today is that we'll start with chapter 4, lesson 4, and we'll try to cover these topics, which is about power and the Milgram experiments, the power dynamics, influence processes, right? Because these are all, although being interesting, they're also quite lengthy in nature. So it'll take a good amount of time to finish these also. So I'll try to finish these much topics, and the rest, which is I believe the lesson 5, and maybe the remaining part, I'll try to cover in the last class. Can you just give me one moment? I'll come back in just give me a moment, please. Yes, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, fine. Let's begin. Today we will talk about how power dynamics play a role in the group, and how, also how, because of the role of power, how the influence works, or how the influence there is the effect of influence in the group dynamics, right? So let's start with the introduction. First, we need to understand what is the meaning of power. So basically, it is one of the most important concepts in any organization, right? And also a very important, it plays a very important role in our group dynamics, right? Let's understand it through the definition where it says that it refers to the capacity or ability of an individual, group, or organization to influence the behavior, attitude, decisions, or actions of others. So basically, this is basic power is all about talking about your ability, and maybe it could be as an individual or a group as a whole, or maybe an organization that can bring about any kind of change in a person's behavior, attitude, or their actions, right? Now, power is usually associated with what? When you are at a high level, right? You hold a certain status, you are a certain kind of leader, you hold certain decision making abilities. So that is where power is associated with. It sort of creates a psychological effect on the rest of the people, and it sort of showcases that whoever has whatever amount of power, they have a certain amount of strength, they have a certain amount of dominance over the rest of the crowd, and they have a certain level of capability, right? So this is what power is about. Okay. And it is not just about the position that you're holding, but rather it's also about the amount of experience you've gained in life, and what has that kind of experience led you to become, the kind of personality you've developed so far in life, and the amount of knowledge you have, and the kind of relationship you hold with people. So that is also what power is about, right? Chalo, moving on. We'll try to understand what is the role of power in group dynamics. Remember, we've studied about how a group is formed and what are the different stages in a group, and there's a leader and there's a facilitator. So, this is sort of an extension of the same thing where we are talking about how power plays a very crucial role in any group dynamics, right? Here, it helps in organizing activities, it helps in assigning roles, it helps in achieving the common objectives of that particular power, right? So authorities such as leaders and managers, they direct the group members, and because they hold that power, the leaders and the managers of any said group have that power, they have that authority. So because of that, they are able to lead the group towards a certain goal, right? And they also, being a leader, they also provide structure and coordination. And also, one has to understand that the functioning of power, the exercise of power is not a one directional aspect, but it is two directional. It goes from the leader to the rest of the group members. And when the group members agree, when they, adhere to the directions which is given by the leader, so that becomes the other part of the two directional um, setup, right? Now, power again in any group has both negative aspects as well as a positive aspect. I'm sure we are all aware of how the use of extra power can be negative in nature, but there are also constructive uses of it also. Like if somebody who has the right amount of power, they know how to guide that group towards the certain goal. It helps in motivating the group members, and it also helps in motivating, increasing their efficiency. Okay. And apart from that, if you misuse the power that you've been given, it can also lead to, if you exercise through the power, whatever power is vested upon you, through that, if you try to exercise it more than a certain limit, you can also have negative effects also. Like you can suppress creativity, you can, there can be, because you hold that power, you can expect certain unwanted actions, or certain, you can sort of influence people in the wrong way. And also, because sometimes you show your power like an autocrat, somebody who only thinks of himself or herself, then in that case, that can also lead to a lot of resistance. So basically, power has the potential to corrupt whoever is holding that power, and it can also be misused further, right? Now let's how power works, how we use power, and how we power and communication are connected, and how it works in a how it works in the group dynamics, right? Now, power directly influences how your messages are interpreted. If you have an authority, you will exercise that power. If you're capable, you will convey your messages or you will convey your directions, right? So if you are aware of the position that you're holding, so whatever power you exercise, you will be able to convey so the message clearly, right? And you also your when you hold certain amount of power, you can make sure that who has the right to speak, who has the right to remain silent in within a group, right? And it also holding power also influences the amount of confidence you have in expressing your opinions, right? If you have ample amount of power, if you're the leader of the group, you can express yourself freely. So that sort of gives you the freedom and the confidence to be yourself, and to act as the right leader. So basically, higher the power you have, there is more influence in the communication. Lower power leads to hesitation or conformity. So basically, leaders must create a psychological safety for open communication. What one is trying to tell here is that the more the power you have, more you can influence people, direct people, and encourage and do all sorts of things as a leader. And the lesser power you have, you will not be able to communicate properly, and you might be hesitant, you might lack the confidence to communicate, because you know where you stand in that group dynamics and how much power you have in that group setup, right? So any good leader should be able to achieve a balance of communication through his power and through the role that he or she is holding, right? This one is about your power, status, and influence. How both power and status act as tools of influence, right? And how individuals use them. The rest of the group members use them to, shape their decisions, how to control the ways different outcomes in a group, and how to make sure a group behaves, right? But we also should remember that even though power is not a tangible thing, okay, it's not something which is visible, it's there out and out. It's not like that. Power is something which is intangible in nature, and it is always there. Like we said, how group is any group is a dynamic setup, it's ever changing. Similarly, the flow of power is also intangible in nature, and it is always present in all kinds of interactions. One will all whenever we are addressing, like right now when I am talking to you as a professor, when I'm giving you a lecture, I hold the power because I have that knowledge, I have that experience through which I can influence you, or through which I can teach you a subject that you've not studied before. I can guide you, I have that much confidence, and because of that confidence I have that power through which I can influence you to think in a certain manner about this particular subject. So that's how the use of power works. That's how power is used to influence any individual or any group or any body, right? Okay. There are certain power struggles also in a group, which will always be there. When there is a flow of power in the group, there will always be struggles. I mean, wherever there is presence of power, which is everywhere, there will always be a struggle. But if we talk about in the context of the groups, what I'm trying to tell you is that there will be certain amounts of struggles. For example, groups often experience competition for authority, conflicts over decision making. So there are these things are called your power struggles. And however, even without visible conflict, subtle power influence always exists. So, what I'm trying to tell you here is that in any present group setup, there will always be a power struggle where people will compete for authority. Although there is a said leader, but there might be someone who may try to surpass the appointed leader, or might not, somebody who's senior in position, but somebody who's at a junior level has been assigned as the leader. So there might be this competition, for authority, that I'm the more experienced one, I'm the more learned one, but I've not been appointed as the leader. But I will exercise my knowledge, I will exercise my experience and opinion on everybody. and the leader might also try to impose his or her own authority in the group setup, that okay, I've been appointed the leader, so I will tell you how things are done. So in that case, there becomes a competition for authority. And also there can be conflicts over decision making. Again, that is again a power struggle happening, where a leader decides on something, but the rest of the group believes that maybe a majority or maybe a minority of the group believes that okay, maybe this is not the right decision, this is not the right way to go about that. So these kind of actions also show how a power struggle works in a group, right? Next, we have leadership and influence processes. Here, we are trying to talk about how being a leader, you can use the process of influence through by the virtue of having power, and how you can in affect any group setup, and how you can become a good leader who exercises power and who also is able to influence its members, right? Now here it's clearly written, leaders, they can influence decisions. That's right. They can also shape the group behavior. They can align members with the goal, right? Now this is a fact. This is something which is bound to happen if the leader is well aware. If the correct leader has been chosen, he or she knows how to exercise their power, and also further knows how to use that power to further influence the decisions, the group behaviors, or aligning members with their goals. Now, with leadership comes influence processes, which also include your persuasion, negotiation, authority, motivation. See, right now, I'm just giving you a brief of whatever we are going to, come across in this chapter. This is just a brief synopsis, a brief summary of everything that we'll cover in this chapter. But because the chapter is a bit lengthy, so I just wanted to, put it in small sections so that we can sort of get an overview before we start with the main chapter, right? So what one is trying to tell you here is that the different influence processes that a leader can use, in a group or in any kind of setup, is through persuasion. They can negotiate with certain members. They can exercise their authority, or maybe they can also motivate in a certain manner. So all in all, if we see how leadership and influence processes work, is that leadership only happens when you have the power. Correct leadership only happens when you have the right kind of power, when you are able to influence, and when you are responsible in nature. That's how you can become a good leader, right? Okay, I hope so far we are fine. I mean, nobody is getting, I hope nobody has any doubts yet, because we're still at the beginning of the chapter. And as we go further, we will talk about a lot of interesting things that have to do with how the power and how the effect of the power, influences any group. Anything anybody wants to ask? This is all the conversation, all the topic right now, the topic that we're discussing, this is all in the context of our group dynamics. Okay. So anybody wants to ask anything or, share? Yes? Nobody? Chalo. Since nobody wants to share anything yet, I'll continue. Okay. Moving on. There are certain influence processes also in an organization, and these influence processes, they determine how any decision takes place, how certain actions are defined, and how certain attitudes are worked upon, right? Now these influence processes, they can work in a lot of different ways. They can happen through any formal authority figure. They can happen through informal relationships, or they can happen through different communication strategies. Okay. Now, this is how the psychological basis of power works. Now, whenever we talk about power, it's a psychological effect on on anybody's behavior, attitude, habits, or nature, right? So it is obvious that it is related to the human behavior and its psychology. Similarly, influence also. People tend to get influenced through their role models, through their seniors. And because those role models and seniors, they hold that kind of power. So they are able to, exercise that authority. Able to exercise their whatever ideas they have, they're able to exercise those ideas, or those directions through the power that they hold, and they're able to influence the whole setup. right? And this is why we will also study about a very important concept, which is called the Milgram's experiment. And we'll get there and I'll tell you how interesting that is. Okay, so this is all in all a brief about how power and influences work in a group setup. So, right? So now we'll start with the how power and Milgram experiments are related. Okay, it's a very interesting concept, right? So just try listening to what I have to say. Okay. First, let's understand what is the meaning of power in any relation, in any leadership, and how it has a social influence, right? Now, in leadership and organizational behavior, power, it just refers to the ability of any individual or any group. It's basically any sort of capability or an ability of a person or a group as a whole to influence the rest of the others, to influence others, to control resources, to shape decisions, to direct behavior, and to achieve organizational objectives. Okay, so, what power does is that it can influence in a lot of manners. It can influence a lot of things and in a lot of different ways. It is basically the capability to, change certain things or bring an effect to certain things, right? Power also enables individuals to bring change and influence perceptions. Along with that, it can also control your outcomes. It can guide the team behavior or the group behavior, and it can also affect the organizational culture. So power is basically a multi-dimensional and situational setup, right? And it's effective. How good it is how effective it is also depends on what kind of leader is there, what kind of organizational culture one has, and what are the ethical setup of that scenario or situation, and what are the social contexts, and how the different followers believe or perceive their leader as. Okay, so this is what is the meaning of power in terms of leadership and how it has a social influence. Okay. Now, what is the nature of power? One has to understand. Power is something which is dynamic in nature. Again, it is ever changing. Power changes depending on the situation that there is, depending on the kind of people exercising the power. Like, for example, take my example right now. I am in an online class. So I hold a limited amount of power to, I hold virtual power to take this class and make sure that you all are able to understand the concepts that I'm trying to teach. Similarly, if I was in an offline class, the whole dynamics would change. I would have a face to face interaction with everybody. So, in that case, the way I exercise my power in a physical class would again change. So, that's why it's the how you exercise your power, it is dynamic in nature. It has to change as per the situation and the surrounding, right? It is context dependent. Again, I told you about how online and offline class I'll be able to teach in a different manner in both the scenarios. So again, that is context dependent. And also it is multifaceted. When we talk about how it is multifaceted, that means how one is able to exercise that power in different ways. I can either be a very strict teacher and use my power and use my authority as a lecturer to, explain things to you, or maybe I can be an easygoing or a friendly teacher who is trying to teach you and make sure that you understand the concepts in a very relaxed environment, right? And power is also relational. Whatever power I have with you, who I hold on to you, is because we have a relationship as a teacher and a student, right? Again, similarly, the kind of power your parents hold on to you is dependent on the relation that you have with them. So that is how the nature of power works, right? Now, different leaders use different sources of power depending on the team composition, again, the hierarchy, organizational hierarchy, the nature of task, and the cultural environment. So, the usage of power is again context based, team composition based, it is hierarchy based, it is based on the kind of work that needs to be taken from or done needs to be done by the certain members, and the kind of cultural environment that is there in the prevalent in the setup, organizational setup or the group setup. Okay. Now let's just take an example here. A CEO may use legitimate power during policy implementation. So this is talking about how the nature of power is exercised. Now, we all agree CEO holds the utmost power in any organization. So when we talk about legitimate power, he has the legal authority to implement any kind of policy, right? He has expert power during strategic planning. So because he's an expert in in certain number of fields, he can exercise that power, expert power, to plan strategically, to plan, or plan anything, be it the budget, the organization structure, anything for that matter. Referent power, which is you have with the referent power is something that you have through the by virtue of a relationship that you share with everybody. So he also has the referent power during motivational speeches, because he's able to connect with everybody, be it his colleagues, his subordinates. So he's able to motivate them. So he holds that kind of power as well. So therefore, effective leaders adapt their power strategies according to circumstances. So when we are trying to understand the nature of power, we need to just understand that good leaders will be able to exercise their power and use it strategically, depending on the kind of situation they are in, or kind of circumstances they are surviving in, right? Now, Mr. Starhawk in 87 had said that he believed that there were three kinds of power. There were three forms of power, okay? And they were namely as power over, which is based on your domination and control, wherein one individual controls others. For example, a rigid manager threatens employees for missing targets, which creates fear-based compliance. So in this case, a manager is exercising his power over the employees, by threatening them that, okay, if the target is missed, you might be thrown out of the organization or whatever it is. So he's trying to basically exercise his authority, and he's trying to dominate, and he's trying to get that compliance or get that obedience through fear, right? This is the first form. Second is your power from within, which refers to your inner strength, confidence, and self belief. First one was something which you could exercise because you had that position. The second one is something that you feel from within. For example, a confident entrepreneur continues leading despite market uncertainty. This kind of power originates internally rather than externally. So, despite the market scenario, market condition, a confident an entrepreneur who's very confident in nature, he will continue to lead because he has that self competence, he has that belief, he has that confidence from within, that okay, I can, handle this market scenario also. I can sail through this, harsh conditions as well, and maybe wait out for the better conditions. So this kind of power, Mr. Starhawk said that this kind of power is something which comes from within, right? So power isn't just happening because of somebody holding a position, but you also have power when you have self belief, when you feel that you're confident in nature, when you feel that okay, whatever experience I've gained in life so far is, it's beneficial for me. So that kind of belief, self belief, also gives you power, which is happening from within, right? And the third form is power with. This kind of power is based on collaboration and collective action, right? For example, cross functional teams working together to launch a product. And this is very common when you have to collaborate with certain functions or departments, when you have to collaborate for any particular project. In that case, you get a collective power. Every function or every department has their own set of authority that they can exercise upon, they can use, and lead to the work towards the fixed goal. So this becomes your power with. So these are your three forms of power. Okay, just keep a note of it, and they might ask you in exam. Just keep a note of it and understand it. And also, if at all you have to give an answer, please give whatever explanation you give it along with an example. Right now, we'll talk about one of the most important concepts, which is your Milgram experiments. Okay, and this will help us in understanding the concept of power. Any queries, anything such until now? Does anybody want to ask anything? Anybody wants to know anything, or any confusion, anything, any issue? Okay, I don't think so anybody has anything to
मैम
say yet.
पावर थ्री टाइप की होती है, मतलब वो जो लेजिटिमेट पावर था तो वो
उस
फिर
पे
क्या
हम
था?
आएंगे, उस पे भी आएंगे। ये फॉर्म्स थे, वो टाइप्स होंगे, हम उसकी भी बात करेंगे। अभी we'll get there. 1 minute, I think sharing pause गई। So Aditi, we'll get there. I'll tell you about that as well. Don't worry. मैंने बोला नहीं, बहुत ही एक्सटेंसिव चैप्टर है। तो पहले मैंने सोचा है कि एक ब्रीफ ओवरव्यू आपको दे देती हूँ, ताकि समझ में आ जाए कि हम किन किन चीजों के बारे में बात करने वाले हैं। मतलब मैंने इंट्रोडक्शन में भी इंट्रोडक्शन डाल दिया था हर टॉपिक का, जो हम आगे कवर करेंगे। सो वील गेट देयर, आई विल एक्सप्लेन इट फर्दर। देयर आर डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ पावर, विल ट्राई एंड टॉक अबाउट दैट एज वेल ऑल्सो। बट अभी हम सबसे पहले विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ पावर। इसके पहले जो पढ़ा, पावर ओवर, विद इन, ये सारा फॉर्म्स था, which was mentioned by Starhawk in 87. This was a different concept. We will come to the different types of power as we proceed further in the chapter. Okay.
यस मैम।
Okay, chalo, now let's start with the Milgram experiment or the Milgram obedience study. So okay, let's take it as a story so that we remember what happened, right? So basically, there was a psychologist who was called by the name of Stanley Milgram, and he, back in 1974, at the University, he tried to conduct an experiment. And this was, believe me, one of the most controversial experiments because of the kind of nature of the experiment. You'll come to know why it was so controversial. Basically, he was trying to understand how power works. So he conducted this experiment, and he tried to study that how do people, obey the authority, and how do humans, conform जब बोलेंगे तो how do humans, believe in certain ideas, believe in certain set of ideas, or believe in someone, right? And also in this experiment, Milgram also tried to understand that what is the role of ethical conflict when they're under pressure. Okay, so we'll try to cover this one by one, right? So basically, this experiment, it aimed to understand that how far individuals would obey authority figures even when instructions conflicted with personal morality, right? What he was trying to understand was that what was the role of power in this whole experiment, कि जिसके वजह से जो ये लोग, मतलब जो individuals हैं, वो अपनी अथॉरिटी या जो भी उनका अथॉरिटेटिव फिगर है, उसकी बात कितनी हद तक जाएंगे, कितनी हद तक मानेंगे, चाहे वो चीज उन्हें गलत भी लग रही हो तो भी। तो उसका वही मतलब, his main intention was that कि उसको देखना था कि एक सर्टेन सिनेरियो में कोई सर्टेन सिचुएशन अगर दे दी जाए कुछ इंडिविजुअल्स को, तो वो कितना ओबे करेंगे अपने अथॉरिटी फिगर को। ठीक है, और अगर उनको ये बोला जाए अंडर प्रेशर कि आपको कुछ गलत करना है या कुछ, मे बी यू हैव टू डू फॉलो अ सर्टेन सेट ऑफ हार्मफुल इंस्ट्रक्शंस, वुड दे स्टिल डू इट? So that's why, because of its nature, it was considered to be a very controversial experiment back then. It still is, right? And we will try to understand how these certain objectives of the experiment work. Okay. Now, what was the structure of the experiment? There were two roles given. There were two sets of participants. First set was the teacher. So in this scenario, there was a teacher and a learner. Teachers had to ask questions and give electric shocks. Okay. So that was the reason why it was, so controversial in nature. And the second set of participants were learners, who, now see, there is the catch here. They pretended to receive shocks, right? So मेन जो participants थे, जिन पे जो study subject थे experiment के, it was those teachers who were appointed as the teachers by Stanley Milgram, and he told them that you are supposed to ask questions, and if your student is not able to answer this question, you can administer electric shocks. But the catch was that the learners were beforehand prepared. They were already part of this experiment in beforehand, and they were just pretending to getting those shocks. They sort of, the half the experiment was sort of, already, constructed, pre-constructed कि ऐसे ऐसे चलेगा, and basically जो टीचर, जो रोल्स, जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स टीचर का रोल प्ले कर रहे हैं, उन पे ये स्टडी हो रहा था। ठीक है, सो नाउ
हम शॉक किस टाइप का?
हाँ जी,
इलेक्ट्रिक शॉक या फिर मतलब
हाँ, बिजली का
मैम
झटका।
शॉक मतलब आप वो किस तरह का बात कर रहे हो?
बिजली का झटका।
अच्छा, इलेक्ट्रिक शॉक। ओके।
Yes, electric shock. So basically, wait, I'll just put that there. Administered इलेक्ट्रिक शॉक्स। तो इनको एक्चुअल में मतलब एक्चुअल में ही देना था, टीचर्स को था कि हाँ भाई हम बिजली का झटका दे रहे हैं, बट एक्चुअली लर्नर्स को वो चीज नहीं लग रही थी। ठीक है, so just note down that the learners were actually actors, no real shocks were given, but however the teachers believed that the shocks were real. So just keep in mind these points, certain points when we go forward. Okay, chalo, now let's see how the experiment went on. So what was that? Teachers had to ask memory referred question, memory based questions पूछने थे। अगर लर्नर ने गलत आंसर दिया तो उसको जो शॉक था वो 15 वोल्ट से 450 वोल्ट का तक का जोल्ट, इलेक्ट्रिक शॉक का जोल्ट मिलना था। And the learners, they were pretending to scream in pain. They were already told what they were supposed to do and not do. And despite, seeing those learners in pain and everything, the teachers did not stop. They were given a particular work by the experimenter. Experimenter is the person who does the experiment, who's the authority figure in this case. They were given this job, the teachers were given this job, and they had to exercise that power on the learners. Okay, so when this happened, despite many participants continued administering shocks because the experimenter had asked them to. सो बेसिकली टीचर्स को जो इंस्ट्रक्शन मिला था कि आपको क्वेश्चन पूछने हैं, गलत आंसर आया तो आपको ये शॉक देना है 15 वोल्ट से, आप धीरे धीरे बढ़ा सकते हो, मैक्सिमम 450 वोल्ट तक जा सकते हो, राइट। तो ये सब उनको इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिए हुए थे एंड दे वर सपोज टू फॉलो दीज इंस्ट्रक्शंस एंड एक्सरसाइज देयर पावर थ्रू आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस एंड गिविंग बिजली का झटका। ठीक है, जिसको एक्चुअली मिल रहा था वो सही में नहीं मिल रहा था। ठीक है, बट अब यू नेवर नो व्हाट इट वाज, बट हम जो समझ में हम समझ ये पा रहे हैं कि किसी को अगर अथॉरिटी मिली है, अगर टीचर्स को वो अथॉरिटी मिली हुई है, तो वो इवन इफ इट इज गिविंग बिल्जी का झटका बिकॉज आप गलत आंसर दे रहे हो, तो in a way try to understand it or look at it from a scenario that they are sort of partially enjoying this experiment that is happening. They are sort of अब मे बी वो कहते हैं कि शायद सॉरी पावर का नशा है, तो वो मतलब दे आर रेडी टू गो टू दिस लेंथ, दे आर रेडी टू गिव आउट इलेक्ट्रिक शॉक्स ऑल्सो। सो दैट्स व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड हियर, दैट हाउ पावर वर्क्स। सो दैट्स व्हाट मिलग्रम वाज आल्सो ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड कि पावर का नशा कैसा होता है, कि क्या हम मतलब खुद को उससे ऊपर ला सकते हैं, क्या हम उसको उस चीज से ओवरकम कर सकते हैं, क्या अगर हमें कोई पार दी जाए और कुछ गलत करने को कहा जाए क्या हम तब भी करेंगे। सो दैट्स व्हाट मिलग्रम वाज ट्राइंग टू टॉक ऑल अबाउट इन हिज एक्सपेरिमेंट्स, राइट। सो दिस वाज द प्रोसीजर। सवाल पूछे गए, एक्सपेरिमेंटर ने टीचर्स को काम दिया, लर्नर्स को झटके क्वेश्चंस पूछो, गलत जवाब तो झटके दो बिजली के, एंड मूव ऑन। ठीक है, अब इसमें क्या पता चला हमें इस एक्सपेरिमेंट में, just read all these very carefully, okay? It's very interesting also. Ordinary individuals obey authority figure even against ethical judgment. तो भाई मिलग्रम को ये बात तो समझ में आ गई कि आपको अगर कोई अथॉरिटी फिगर कोई काम दे रहा है, somebody is giving you, assigning you any job or giving you certain amount of power, then they, even if it's a wrong kind of job, humans have this tendency that they will go against their own ethical judgment. This was established quite, I mean, quite evidently here. Authority, second finding was that authority strongly influences human behavior. Any kind of authority, whoever has any authority, they will always influence the human behavior, right? Individuals often transfer responsibility to authority figures. कई बार हम अगर जैसे इस केस में ये कहा जा रहा है कि टीचर्स ने गलत, एक तरह से गलत काम ही किया किसी को बिजली के झटके देके, बट उनका कहना, उनका जस्ट दे हैड दिस mere justification that our authority figure or our we had been assigned this task, we had been asked to do this, so there, that was their only explanation. Although this is a wrong thing in nature, by default dekha jaye it's a wrong thing, humanly it's not right to give electric jolts to anybody, electric shocks to anybody, right? But still, because they were assigned this work, they agreed to it. So what he understood from this experiment was the third thing, that they can very easily shift the blame, or they can very easily shift that भाई हमारे senior ने बोला था इसलिए हमने ये किया. Fourth was many participants continued delivering shocks despite visible discomfort and guilt. So although the learners were experiencing a lot of discomfort, and they were going through a lot because of that, pretend electric shocks, but the teachers did not stop. They continued to do that because that was the role that was assigned to them through an authority figure, right? And despite the teachers also getting very uncomfortable, they did not give up because they were like कि नहीं हमें काम दिया है, so it's better, they'd rather follow through that job whatever is assigned. So basically what he's trying to tell you here is that in organizations, employees may obey unethical orders from senior management, and pressure from authority may override those personal ethics. So this explains certain kinds of corporate scandals that happen, unethical business decisions that takes place, right? So there are these certain things, and maybe some kind of blind compliance also in terms of hierarchical organization. सो की फाइंडिंग्स से हमें यही समझ में आया कि कोई भी अथॉरिटी फिगर अगर रहेगी प्रेवलेंट अवेलेबल, तो हर कोई दे विल लुक अप टू देम. Our own individual's behavior will get influenced because of that authority figure, and if those individuals are questioned कि भाई तुमने ऐसा क्यों किया, किस लिए किया, so they can very easily say कि भाई हमारे बॉस ने बोला था. So just let's try to understand this through an example here, that in certain financial fraud cases, junior employees manipulated records because senior executives instructed them to do so. So later the employees claim that we were only following orders. So this sort of reflects Milgram's obedience principle. ठीक है. अब हमें इससे क्या क्या चीजें एक्सपेरिमेंट से, व्हाट वर द की टेकअवेज, व्हाट डिड वी अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम दिस एक्सपेरिमेंट. ओके, बिफोर आई गो अहेड, are we all clear on the experiment that we talked about? Does anybody want to ask anything, any question, that anything they want to know?
मैम जो शॉक था वो रियल दिया गया था?
नहीं नहीं, रियल नहीं था. आप रियल नहीं था. जो लर्नर्स थे जिनको शॉक दिया जा रहा था, देवर पार्टिसिपेंट्स, वो एक्टर्स थे. तो रियल सब्जेक्ट, किसी भी एक्सपेरिमेंट में एक सब्जेक्ट होता है ना, तो रियल सब्जेक्ट ये टीचर्स थे जिनको एक जॉब असाइन किया था. सही में शॉक नहीं दिया गया था. ठीक है, वो मैंने नोट्स में भी लिखा हुआ है, आप अपने बुक में भी पढ़ोगे, स्टडी मटेरियल में पढ़ोगे, तो उसमें भी लिखा है कि रियल में शॉक नहीं दिया गया था. इट वाज जस्ट अ प्रिटेंड थिंग. क्योंकि सही में शॉक देंगे तो वो तो बात कहीं की कहीं और, मतलब वो एक्सपेरिमेंट ही कुछ और हो जाएगा. यहाँ बस ये समझना था कि अगर कोई अथॉरिटी फिगर कुछ लोगों को काम देता है, तो वो लोग कैसे करते हैं. अगर गलत काम भी उनको दिया जा रहा है तो उसको वो कैसे हैंडल करते हैं, क्या वो मना कर देते हैं. एंड आज के टाइम में आई एम श्योर विद द काइंड ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट दैट वी आर लिविंग इन, आई एम श्योर वी ऑल अंडरस्टैंड द इफेक्ट ऑफ पावर, be it in a good way or be it in a bad way. I mean, I'm sure you guys can understand how power plays a very crucial role in, influencing all of us. I mean, how we get influenced by our leaders and by our role models. I'm not talking in a negative sense, but I'm trying to tell you a very factual thing, that power plays a very crucial role when it comes to influencing the crowd, or, when it comes to getting things done. So this is how one tries to, through this experiment, one try to understand that how the real power, what is the effect of the power, right? Anybody else? Anything else?
Yes. No, ma'am.
Okay, chalo, moving on. So, what were the key takeaways? What did we understand from these experiments was that first thing we understood was about authority and obedience. We understood that individuals, they tend to obey the managers, leaders, experts, or any institutional authority. And authority also creates a psychological pressure for compliance. Okay. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of compliance? What do we understand through compliance? Can someone tell me, please?
मैम कंप्लायंस मतलब जिससे शॉक दिया जा रहा था.
नहीं, compliance मतलब कि compliance का बेसिक मतलब होता है ओबे करना, बात मानना. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे ये कहा जा रहा है कि ह्यूमन नेचर होता है कि हमें अगर कोई अथॉरिटी फिगर मिल गया, या हमें कोई हमारा रोल मॉडल लीडर मिल गया तो हम उसकी बात मानेंगे, कंप्लाई करेंगे, वी विल ओबे देम, वी विल लिसन टू देम, राइट? सो दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ कंप्लायंस। ठीक है। अथॉरिटी क्रिएट्स साइकोलॉजिकल प्रेशर फॉर कंप्लायंस। सो अथॉरिटी देख के ही अंदर से ना एक साइकोलॉजिकल सेटअप हो जाता है। जैसे आप भी जब छोटे रहे होगे, आप लोग स्कूल जाते होगे, तो टीचर्स को देख के, मतलब मैं हर बच्चे की बात तो नहीं करी, बट आई आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट स्टूडेंट्स इन जनरल। Weren't we sort of scared of our teachers and everybody? Remember when you used to see a teacher come, or you used to like सीधे बैठ जाते थे, or you maybe stop talking, you used to do that, right? If you guys can recall back your school time, principal agar headmistress, if she's walking by and you're sitting and talking in your classroom, not doing anything, you start opening books, kya ma'am aa rahi hai, koi aa raha hai. So right, I mean, to correct me if I'm wrong, this does happen, right? It used to happen when a teacher is passing by, anybody's passing by, and you guys we all have a free period in class and you're just sitting and talking. We start pretending कि वो नहीं कोई आ रहा है, चलो चलो चलो. So वो एक वो psychological effect आ जाता है. Whenever we see an authority figure, we get this psychological effect from, दिमाग में already वो automatic सेटिंग हो जाती है कि अच्छा कोई प्रिंसिपल आ रही है, चलो चलो बुक खोल लो, टीचर आ रही है, कोई कुछ बोल दे कि बुक खोल लो. सो वो एक कांस्टेंट साइकोलॉजिकल सिचुएशन दिमाग में बन जाती है. अग्रीड? यस और नो गाइस? एनीथिंग एनीबॉडी वांट्स टू से?
यस मैम, ऐसा होता था.
सो this is how power works. This is how authority figures exercise their power. Okay, I'm sure okay, चलो I'll we'll discuss it further. पहले मैं experiment वाली बात खत्म कर दूं. Right? So अथॉरिटी देखते हैं, कंप्लायंस शुरू हो जाता है, ओबीडियंस, लोग ओबीडियंट हो जाते हैं ऑटोमेटिकली, राइट? एम्प्लॉइज may work excessive unpaid overtime because senior management expects it and organizational culture normalizes obedience. ठीक है, तो एक एग्जांपल ये भी हो गया कि इस सिनेरियो में अगर हम अथॉरिटी एंड ओबीडियंस की बात करनी चाहें कि हर कोई बहुत काम कर रहा है, अनपेड ओवरटाइम कर रहा है, तो सारे ही करने लगते हैं क्योंकि सीनियर मैनेजमेंट को वो उम्मीद रहती है. ठीक है, अब अगर मैं एक कैजुअल सा ऐसे एक एग्जांपल लेती हूँ. जैसे सास बहू का सिनेरियो होता है, तो बहू से क्या एक्सपेक्टेड होता है? शादी करके घर में जाएगी, तो जो सीनियर अथॉरिटी है, मतलब जो सास है या जो जितने भी इनलॉयज हैं, बहू से ये एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं ना कि घर संभाल के जोड़ के रखेगी, घर के काम करेगी, चलो ऑफिस भी जाना है जाएगी, या जो भी जिसका भी जो भी फ्रीडम लिमिट जो भी है. तो एक ये ओबीडियंस और अथॉरिटी का जो ये तालमेल है, वो बाय डिफॉल्ट ही बैठ जाता है. जैसे आप ऑफिस की बात करो या घर की बात करो या अस एज वुमेन हम बात करें, तो लड़कियों से ये एक्सपेक्टेड होता है कि शादी करके जाएंगे, घर पे सास होगी, सास की बात सुनेंगे. सो दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ थिंग दैट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट कि एक सर्टेन अथॉरिटी फिगर के कुछ सर्टेन एक्सपेक्टेशंस होते हैं जो हमें फुलफिल करने होते हैं, राइट? सो दिस इज हाउ इट वर्क्स. दिस इज हाउ दे एक्सरसाइज देयर पावर. ठीक है. Second takeaway was social power structures. Organizations operate through formal power
मैम
structures.
लाइट तो चेंज नहीं हुई है.
हाँ जी, सॉरी,
लाइट चेंज नहीं हुई.
स्लाइड चेंज नहीं हुई
अथॉरिटी एंड ओबीडियंस ही आ रहा है अभी भी.
अभी भी. 1 मिनट. हाँ,
यस मैम.
अभी अथॉरिटी अब चेंज हुआ.
नो मैम, वही है.
1 मिनट, मेरे में तो हो गया. जस्ट गिव मी 1 मिनट, मैं रीशेयर करती हूँ. क्या हो गया? जस्ट मिनट. Is this fine now?
यस मैम.
Okay, great. Sorry, I have to go back. So the second one is your social power structures. So what is understood is that organizations, they work through a formal power structure. एक formal structuring होती है किसी भी organization में, right? And individuals often comply. Why do individuals obey? Comply मतलब why do the individuals obey to something? Because they understand that authority is linked with legitimacy. मतलब कोई भी अगर मेरा लीडर बन के आ रहा है, तो वो इसलिए बन के आ रहा है क्योंकि उसको वो लीगली वो या फॉर्मली वो रोल उसको असाइन किया गया है. And also institutions symbolize credibility and control. So basically any leader who is credible in nature and who can, control their subordinates. So in that I mean, when a leader can do that, so that is what also individuals, the rest of the individuals, listen to. That's what they look for, कि भाई अगर हमें सुनना ही है तो ऐसे इंसान की बात सुने जो हमारा लीडर हो, जो एक्चुअल में हमारा मतलब फॉर्मली असाइंड लीडर हो या फॉर्मली असाइंड बॉस हो, या कोई, क्योंकि कोई भी चलता फिरता है उसकी बात तो नहीं सुनेंगे. सो दैट इज हाउ पावर वर्क्स, कि असाइन किया गया है लेजिटिमेट लीगली किसी को, या फॉर्मली, तभी हम उसकी बात मानेंगे. For example, employees comply with corporate policies even when personally disagreeing because policies come from top management. One minute. ठीक है? So employees have to agree, right? Because it is coming from the top management. ठीक है? Third is your conformity to authority. Conformity मतलब, अपनी बातें, अपने जितने भी थॉट्स एंड व्यूज हो उसको दबा के जो भी सोशल नॉर्म है उसको मानना, उसको बोलते हैं कन्फॉर्मिंग टू समथिंग. जैसे हमें शायद कुछ चीजें लगता हो कि नहीं ये गलत है, बाय डिफॉल्ट ये मुझे लगता है गलत है, बट ऐसा नहीं है. मतलब सोसाइटी में कुछ और चल रहा है, राइट? सोसाइटी में जैसे अब कैसे समझाऊं? चलो पहले लेट मी टॉक अबाउट दिस, देन आई विल डिस्कस इट. सो पीपल ऑफन सप्रेस देयर पर्सनल वैल्यूज टू कंफर्म टू अथॉरिटी एक्सपेक्टेशंस. तो अपने मन की ना करके हम जो भी हमारा अथॉरिटी फिगर है उसकी एक्सपेक्टेशन को फुलफिल करने लगते हैं. अब ये क्यों होता है? क्योंकि हमें डर है कि हमें कोई पनिशमेंट मिल जाएगी. मतलब पनिशमेंट लिटरली कोई पनिशमेंट नहीं, बट कोई penalize कर देगा. We need validation, we seek approval from them, and also organizational pressure. For example, a sales team promotes unrealistic targets because leadership pressures them to maintain aggressive market image. तो दिस इज, ऑल्दो सेल्स टीम्स को पता है कि भाई ये टारगेट नहीं फुलफिल होने वाला, ठीक है, बट हमें तब भी यही बोलते जाना है, हर जगह बोलते जाना है. क्यों? बिकॉज लीडर को पता है, उसने बोला हुआ है कि नहीं भाई, हमने एक अपने बारे में एक इमेज बनाई हुई है एंड वी कैन नॉट ब्रेक दैट इमेज. तो चाहे जितना भी अनरियलिस्टिक हो अप टू अ सर्टेन पॉइंट, बट वी हैव टू गो हेड विद दैट. ठीक है? ओके, अंडरस्टैंडिंग. आई this third giveaway that I talked about, conforming to authority. Can anybody give me a social life example? ये तो चलो पर्सनल हो गया कि although हमें लगता है कि कुछ गलत हो रहा है, but still despite that, we conform to something, we agree to something. Can you guys share any example with me where you have faced this scenario कि भले ही आपको अंदर से लग रहा हो कि नहीं ये चीज गलत हो रही है, बट तब भी मुझे ये चीज करनी पड़ेगी, या मैं ये ऐसा नहीं करना चाहती या चाहता, बट मुझे ये चीज करनी पड़ेगी. Ever come across this thing maybe at your workplace or any social scenario? ये तो रोज ही होता है, हम सबके साथ ही होता है. I mean, अगर आप इसको कहेंगे कि कभी नहीं हुआ है तो ये तो मैं नहीं मान सकती. Anybody who wants to share anything of related to that? No? Okay.
मैम लाइक ड्राइविंग ऑन अ रॉन्ग साइड. सबको पता
Driving.
है कि हाँ वो गलत है, लेकिन तब भी उधर लेकर जाते हो तो फिर.
गुड अदिति, गुड एग्जाम्पल, राइट. मतलब रॉन्ग वे पता है कि भाई नहीं जाना चाहिए, बट हाँ सब कर रहे हैं तो फिर हम भी करते हैं. अब कोई कितना किसको क्या बोलेगा. गुड. एनीबडी एल्स?
और मैम लाइक कटिंग द क्यू, लाइन तोड़ना.
हाँ, वो भी
तो
बहुत लोग
एक
करते हैं.
बंदा अगर तोड़ता है तो फिर तो सब उसके पीछे जाते हैं, फिर सब तोड़ते हैं.
Exactly. So, so this is how, sort of it works in that. Okay, great. Thanks, Aditi. So we'll move on to the fourth one. Fourth is your de-individuation and power. तो यहाँ पे ये समझ में, डी इंडिविजुएशन का मतलब आप बेसिकली ये समझ लो. डी इंडिविजुएशन का मतलब बस इतना ही होता है कि जब हम अपनी आइडेंटिटी छोड़ के एक ग्रुप जिसमें हम एग्जिस्ट करते हैं उसकी आइडेंटिटी पकड़ लेते हैं। मतलब अपने जितने भी हमारे बिलीफ्स या मॉरल्स हैं हम वो छोड़ के, जैसे कई बार आप लोगों ने कॉलेज नया जाना शुरू मतलब किया होगा एक पॉइंट पे, बहुत सारे नए नए दोस्त बने होंगे, एक अच्छा क्लोज नेट ग्रुप बना होगा, तो कई बार हम अपने ग्रुप, कॉलेज ग्रुप या जो भी ग्रुप है, स्कूल ग्रुप है, कोई भी एक पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप है, हम वैसे हो जाते हैं, हम अपनी कुछ चीजें वी forget our individuality. So power, what we are trying to tell you here is that power has that kind of effect also, where an individual loses his or her own personal identity within a group and becomes, takes upon the identity of the group, of the group itself. Okay, so this can also be understood कि इस एक्सपेरिमेंट से ये भी समझ में आया कि जिस बिकॉज बहुत सारे टीचर्स, एक काम मिला था, असाइन हुआ था, और भले ही उन लोगों को गलत सही लग रहा था, बट उसके बावजूद भी वो एज अ ग्रुप इन दैट एक्सपेरिमेंट उसको परफॉर्म करते गए. So de-individuation occurs when individuals lose personal identity within a group, right? And responsibility becomes psychologically diffused. So basically, any kind of responsibility, they take it as a collective responsibility. ठीक है? And then people justify कि कभी वो देखा है भीड़ इकट्ठा होती है, सारी कई बार कुछ मिसहैप होता है, सारे पत्थर चलाने लगते हैं, तो ये एक उसी का एग्जाम्पल है कि गलत सही नहीं सोचता इंसान जब उस भीड़ में होता है, पत्थर फेंकने वालों के या कोई भी कुछ गलत करने वालों के, नहीं होता है उस भीड़ में, वो इंसान नहीं सोच पाता सही गलत, वो उस भीड़ के साथ ही चलता रहता है. तो इस केस में जो भी एक वो सेंटिमेंट होता है ना, ग्रुप सेंटिमेंट, वो आ जाता है. और वो कैसे आता है? पावर एक्सरसाइज करने की वजह से. अगर राइट काइंड ऑफ लीडर ने सही मतलब राइट काइंड ऑफ पावर एक्सरसाइज किया होता और ग्रुप को कंट्रोल किया होता, तो शायद वो नहीं होता. बट उस ग्रुप का, उस क्राउड का काम ही यही था, टू इंस्टिगेट वायलेंस. So that thing happens, right? For example, again here, employees in certain organizations may justify misconduct by saying everyone does it, it is company policy, right? Fifth one was the power of norms and expectations. Fifth, here basically meaning that social norms strongly influence your behavior, right? Individuals, social, when we say social norms, norms का मतलब होता है जो भी behavior या जो भी conduct होता है within a society, उसकी बात कर रहे हैं. Individuals follow expected behavior patterns because society rewards conformity. अब वही है कि अगर आप डॉक्टर बन जाओगे, इंजीनियर बन जाओगे, सब कहेंगे अरे वाह वाह वाह, आईएएस बन जाओगे, सब कहेंगे अरे वाह अरे वाह. वहीं अगर आप डांसर बन जाओ, और क्या है, अनकन्वेंशनल जॉब रोल्स, कोई भी अनकन्वेंशनल थोड़ा जॉब रोल ले लो, तो यू माइट नॉट बी रिवॉर्डेड दैट वेल. फैशन डिजाइनर बन जाओ तो लोग दर्जी बुलाएंगे, या कुछ और थोड़ा अनकन्वेंशनल कर लो तो लोग कुछ और कहेंगे. बट वही अगर इंजीनियर बनो, डॉक्टर बनो, आईएएस बनो, सरकारी नौकरी करो, तो people will be all about, they will not stop talking about you. So that's how one can also understand कि हम, we are so stuck in those watertight compartments कि भाई जैसे सोसाइटी चल रही है वैसे ही चलना है, वैसे ही चलना है, वरना हम पीछे छूट जाएंगे. तो ये सब भी पावर का एक तरह से इफेक्ट होता है. एंड इंडिविजुअल्स ऑल्सो फॉलो
मैं
एक्सपेक्टेड
आपने
पैटर्न.
सोशल नॉर्म्स क्या बताया?
क्या? सॉरी.
सोशल नॉर्म्स का मीन्स क्या बताया था आपने?
सोशल नॉर्म्स मतलब कि एक सर्टेन काइंड ऑफ बिहेवियर, आप एक जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दैट हम सारे एक सोसाइटी में रह रहे हैं, अग्रीड. हम एक वेल डेवलप्ड, वेल वेल बिहेव्ड सोसाइटी में रह रहे हैं, तो हमसे ना एक सर्टेन सोशल बिहेवियर्स एक्सपेक्टेड है. नॉर्म्स का मतलब होता है, मतलब इट्स अ वे, मैं वैसे वेगली बता रही हूँ, बट नॉर्म्स मीन्स कि सर्टेन सर्टेन काइंड ऑफ बिहेवियर्स दैट इज एक्सपेक्टेड ऑफ यू. कि अगर हम सोसाइटी में रह रहे हैं तो हम सिविल तरीके से रहेंगे, हम किसी से लड़ाई झगड़ा नहीं करेंगे, मारपीट नहीं करेंगे, प्यार से बात करेंगे, काइंड रहेंगे, मतलब इस तरीके की इन चीजों को सोशल नॉर्म्स कहते हैं. we'll be good, good humans, we'll be good women, or we'll be good men. जैसे हम औरतों से क्या, कुछ एक सर्टेन चीजें एक्सपेक्टेड होती है ना, कि एक औरत को खाना बनाना आना चाहिए, उसको घर संभालने आना चाहिए, उसको बच्चे संभालने आने चाहिए, तो ये एक औरत से सर्टेन सोशल नॉर्म्स एक्सपेक्टेड होते हैं, राइट? वैसे ही सिमिलरली मेन शुड बी एबल टू कमाने आना चाहिए, फैमिली संभालने आनी चाहिए, गाड़ी चलानी आनी चाहिए, इस टाइप की इन चीजों को सोशल नॉर्म्स बोलते हैं एक तरह से. ठीक है?
यस.
So when we talk about that, द पावर ऑफ नॉर्म्स एंड एक्सपेक्टेशन. सो एक सर्टेन चीजें एक्सपेक्टेड होती हैं जो हमें करनी ही होती है विदाउट क्वेश्चनिंग, राइट? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, न्यू एम्प्लॉयज इमिटेट वर्क प्लेस कल्चर इवन व्हेन इट एनकरेजेस अनहेल्दी कंपटीशन. तो बेसिकली कोई भी नया भी जाता है तो वो बिना क्वेश्चन किए जो भी चल रहा है वर्क प्लेस का कल्चर जो भी है वो उसको कॉपी करने लगता है. ठीक है. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस बिकॉज ऑफ द पावर, इसके बारे में हमने पढ़ा था पहले भी. ये 5 टेक अवेज थे इस एक्सपेरिमेंट से. क्या आप लोगों को ये चीज समझ में आ गई कि एक्सपेरिमेंट क्यों हुआ, कैसे हुआ, और उससे हमें क्या समझ में आया? डज एनीबडी हैव एनी काइंड ऑफ क्वेरी और एनीथिंग, वांट्स टू आस्क एनीथिंग? Because there was a question, I was going through the previous year question paper, there was a question on this one as well. One moment, I'll just tell you. I believe this is no, that question paper was from, one moment, from 2024. There was a question regarding this topic. Just a minute, मैं देख के बताती हूँ. हाँ. That what was the Milgram experiment, and explain the concept of power dynamics in group. Right? So basically, अभी हमने जो भी cover किया, this question was asked in 2024. Right? So if you are able to understand this concept, you shall not have a lot of trouble in answering the questions. Okay, just try to understand this concept and try to put it in the context of your current, of any current scenario. या तो कोई current example को लेके चलो, या जो examples दिए हुए, just link that with the experiment, right? And then you can write the questions answer. ठीक है.
Yes.
कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस ऑफ पार का पता है, पॉजिटिव भी हो सकता है, नेगेटिव भी हो सकता है. पार से यूजुअली दोनों चीजें ही निकलती हैं. ठीक है. अच्छी चीजों में हो जाता है आपका कि इफ यू आर यूजिंग योर पार एथिकली, इन एथिकली राइट मैनर, यू विल लीड टू इनोवेशन, देयर विल बी बेटर कोऑर्डिनेशन, यू विल इंस्पायर एम्प्लॉइज, एंड यू विल क्रिएट, I mean, there will be good organizational growth. For example, a transformational leader motivates employees towards innovation and collaboration. ठीक है. नेगेटिव में क्या हो गया? एक्सप्लॉइटेशन है, ऑपरेशन है, हर टाइप का टॉर्चर होता है, पॉलिटिक्स हो जाते हैं, वर्क प्लेस पॉलिटिक्स होते हैं, करप्शन है, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है, ये सब रहता है. सो बेसिकली अ मैनेजर इज यूजिंग हिज फियर टैक्टिक्स टू क्रिएट टॉक्सिक वर्कप्लेस कल्चर. So when there is a negative consequence of power, that can again lead to this fear of, fear tactic, right? Which then further, makes the workplace more toxic, right? और भी consequences होते हैं. Psychological well-being हो सकती है, social relationships can get better, organizational climate can get better. Employees का अगर, if the power is used in a good way, if the leader is good, he can boost the morale of his employees, and also affect the environment, and be and be social, responsibly social. ठीक है. चलो जी, लेट्स नाउ अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ एथिकलिटी. हमने ये तो समझ लिया, पावर, पावर बहुत बड़ी चीज है. पावर सबके पास, जिसके पास होती है वो कुछ भी कर सकता है, ये कर सकता है. बट अगेन वन हैज टू ड्रॉ अ लाइन व्हेन इट कम्स टू एक्सरसाइजिंग दैट पावर. ओके. So what does ethical power means, and how does it lead to being a good leader? When you use your power, when you use responsibly the use of influence or the use of power, you can also lead to inclusion. You include everybody, right? And when you make fair decisions, when you make right decisions, when you have that power and you use it ethically, then it can also lead to trust. Your employees, or your group members, they tend to trust you, right? They tend to trust that leader. When you respect the rights, whoever has the certain amount of right, when you respect that, then it also leads to growth. So there are these, just go through this table once. ठीक है. यहाँ पे ये क्लियरली दिया हुआ है कि एथिकल पावर का क्या मतलब हो जाएगा, एंड इन द सेम कंटेक्स्ट एथिकल लीडरशिप से उसका, उस पावर को यूज करने का क्या फायदा होगा, उससे क्या क्या होगा. For example, I'll just tell you through this example. A company leader openly communicates during layoffs. Okay, he explains the reasons honestly for the layoffs. He provides the support that mental support that an employee needs during the exit time, and he ensures that there is fair treatment done. So this way, this example is trying to tell you how one can use their power ethically in an organization, right? Anybody wants to ask anything or want to discuss anything? Okay, I guess not. ठीक है, चलो moving on. Now we will talk about power dynamics within a group. पावर की बात कर ली, समझ ली पावर क्यों है, किस वजह से आता है, कैसे आता है। अब हम समझेंगे कि ये जो भी हमारा मतलब पावर हमारे पास है, ठीक है, उससे हम उसको किस तरह से यूज कर सकते हैं, वो क्या रोल प्ले करता है किसी भी सर्टेन सिनेरियो में, ठीक है। So what is the meaning of power dynamics? It refers to patterns through which power is distributed, exercised, and negotiated among individuals within groups. तो पहले पावर समझी, अब ये समझेंगे कि पावर को हम कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं, कैसे उसको जस्ट जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड कि उसको यूज कैसे कर सकते हैं, हाउ डू वी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट इट फर्दर, हाउ डू वी एक्सरसाइज इट फर्दर, हाउ वी यूज इट टू negotiate among individuals in a group. Now power dynamics, they can influence communication. Okay, they can influence leadership, they can influence team behavior, they can influence your decision making, your conflict resolution, as well as your organization's effectiveness. ठीक है, पार्ट डायनामिक्स आप लोगों को समझ में आया, द कॉन्सेप्ट दैट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट? Anybody has any query or anything they want to ask? Basically understand, see, इसके पहले we were talking about power, now we are talking कि इस पावर को कैसे यूज करना है, किस तरीके से यूज करना है। पावर डायनामिक्स उस चीज के बारे में हो गया।
यस मैम, क्लियर है।
ठीक है, ओके, चलो मूविंग ऑन। Now, what is the nature of power dynamics? Okay, it is complex in nature. It is not very easy to, exercise. It is complex. It is situational. सिचुएशन के हिसाब से पार यूज होती है। इट इज कंटेक्स्ट डिपेंडेंट, जिस टाइप का सिनेरियो है उस टाइप का वो पार एक्सरसाइज करेंगे। एंड इट इज ऑल्सो इन्फ्लुएंस बाय योर कल्चर एंड हायरार्की। आप किस बैकग्राउंड से आते हो, आप किस पोजीशन में हो, उससे भी आपके पावर डायनामिक्स इफेक्ट होते हैं। Now, different individuals derive power from different sources, right? Different forms हमने पढ़ा था ना, power over, power within, power वैसे करके। तो यहाँ पे भी वही चीज बताई जा रही है कि हर इंडिविजुअल का पावर सोर्स अलग तरीके, अलग सोर्सेस, अलग अलग मींस मोड से होता है। थ्रू पोजीशन, आपका कोई पोजीशन होल्ड करते हो किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में। थ्रू एक्सपर्टीज, यू रिटायर्ड, when people, when they retire by the age of 60, they start working as consultants because they hold a certain amount of expertise in any kind of field, right? So that is how you can derive your power. Derive power meaning, how do you get your power? Okay, through relationships. Our parents, they derive power through the relationship that we have with them. They can exercise their power on us as a parent because they have that son daughter relationship with us, ठीक है, through information, and also through rewards. When you have a certain amount of information, again you can exercise that power। HR के पास काफी information होती है, so they have that power, right? And also through rewards। Okay, now there are different bases of power in groups। Okay, basis is basically your different sources, different origins, or your different foundations of power। Basically हमें यहाँ पे ये देखेंगे कि जो भी ये पावर सोर्स है हमारा, वो कहाँ से आ रहा है और कैसे आ रहा है, ठीक है। और ये भी समझेंगे कि उस पावर सोर्स के वजह से लोग क्यों बातें मानते हैं, या व्हाई डू दे गेट इन्फ्लुएंस्ड आइदर, मतलब सोर्स से पता चल जाएगा कि कोई चीज किस वजह से हो रही। Okay, excuse me. So basis of power in groups. The basis of power in groups, it refers to the different sources, foundations, or origins from which an individual derives the ability to influence the behavior, decisions, or actions of other members within a group. ठीक है. In any organization, power is not just exercised randomly, okay? Individuals influence others because they possess certain resources or authority to exercise that power. Okay, so these are the different bases of power that we'll talk about, right? हमने इसकी बात की थी when some I think one of Aditi asked me ना कि मैम what is referent power and legitimate. तो अब हम we'll talk about the different bases of power that is there. ठीक है. So this story goes back to 1968. Mr. French and Raven had this theory of power, right? They identified that there are major six sources of power which are used in any group or organization. So first one is your referent power, or also called as your charismatic power. This comes from your personality, your the kind of emotional connection that you have, and people listen to you. Why? Because they respect you and they like you for it, or they identify with you as an individual. Okay. Okay. Before I go ahead, anybody wants to ask anything or share anything? Because I mean, I hope nobody's gone off to sleep. I mean, it's not like. And it's a very interesting chapter, so I don't want any of you to, miss out on it. An important भी है. So if anybody wants to share anything, I mean, कुछ अगर आपको बोलना है, कुछ बताना है, anything. If you guys want, I can continue further. मैं कहानी अपनी चालू रख सकती हूँ. Okay. One thumbs up. I believe everybody agrees. All of you are conforming to that thing कि हाँ, okay, बात सुनते जाओ. You're conforming to the authority of the teacher that कि हाँ, ठीक है, बात सुनते जाओ. Okay, great. अब चलो, moving on. So first is your first source of power is happens through your personality. ठीक है. I'll मैं brief में सबको cover करूंगी. ठीक है. Features क्या होते हैं इसके? It's based on your personal appeal. ठीक है. And it was also it builds your it also depends on how you have that emotional influence on people. ठीक है. For example, a highly admired startup founder inspires employees through vision, humility, communication skills, and positive attitude. ठीक है. Employees willingly work harder because they emotionally connect with the leader. ठीक है. So in this case, influence comes from admiration, not authority. When how does one hold power over you? आपको कोई सेलिब्रिटी पसंद है, राइट? आई एम श्योर हर किसी को कोई ना कोई सेलिब्रिटी पसंद होगा, कोई सिंगर, कोई एक्टर, राइट? किसी को कोई ना कोई तो पसंद होगा. तो वो जो आप जब उसकी बात सुनते हो, दैट पर्सन इज एक्सरसाइजिंग दैट पावर ऑन यू. ओके. ये मैं एक सोशल एग्जांपल लेके बता रही हूँ. इट्स अ पर्सनल टाइप ऑफ एग्जांपल दैट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू. आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू अबाउट अ प्रोफेशनल एग्जांपल. ठीक है. व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू हियर इज दैट गिव यू अ कंटेक्स्ट दैट सोशली अगर हम देखे जाए तो जो भी हमारे रोल मॉडल्स हैं और द काइंड ऑफ पीपल दैट वी वी आर फॉन्ड ऑफ, whoever celebrity we like. I mean, anybody can give me an example of any celebrity they're fond of. कोई एक्टर हो गया, सिंगर हो गया, कोई हो गया. आप उसकी बात क्यों सुनते हो या आप उसको क्यों पसंद करते हो? कोई बता सकता है मुझे? किसी को कोई सेलिब्रिटी एक्टर कोई नहीं पसंद?
यस मैम, क्योंकि वो अच्छा लगता है इस वजह से.
हाँ, बट क्यों अच्छा लगता है? कोई कोई तो होगा एक एग्जाम्पल, कोई वजह तो होगी.
मैम बिकॉज इज dancing style.
Okay. Yes, हर्ष बताइए. हर्ष, यू आर ट्राइंग टू से समथिंग.
Oh,
No, as in you raised your hand, na? Do you want to share something? Okay. Hmm.
हम गलती से क्लिक हो गए.
Okay, okay, no problem. So like Aditi said, dancing style पसंद है तो certain celebrity पसंद है. So similarly, what I'm trying to tell you here is that कि when we talk about charismatic power, वो भी ऐसे ही function करता है. When we look up to somebody, when we have a certain role model, they exercise that power on us. When we listen to them, they are exercising that power on us. So that is how this first source of power works. Okay. Moving on, legitimate power. This kind of power happens or originates when you hold an official position, right? When you have any kind of authority. Okay? And it gives that person the right to make decisions, give out orders, and also allocate responsibilities. So French and Raven believe that first source was your charismatic power source. ठीक है, उससे लोग पावर एक्सरसाइज कर सकते हैं, वो एक टाइप ऑफ पावर सोर्स हो गया. दूसरा हो गया आपका ये लेजिटिमेट वाला, जो एक पोजीशन आपको एक अचीव स्टेटस के थ्रू मिलता है. फॉर एग्जांपल, एन एचआर मैनेजर, दे approves leave, they conduct appraisals, they implement HR policies. So employees comply because the manager has that official organizational role. So that is why the employees comply or they obey to that manager. ठीक है, by virtue of the manager holding an official formal position in the organization, that manager can exercise that legitimate power. ठीक है. Third is your expert power. Like I said, when you earn a certain kind of skill set, or when you earn a certain kind of technical knowledge or any kind of experience through years and years of working and everything, that's how you through that is how you can exercise your expert power. Employees trust experts because they are perceived as credible and knowledgeable. For example, ये आपके study material में भी है. A chartered accountant guides top management regarding taxation strategy, although not the CEO, but the accountant strongly influences the decisions due to expertise, right? Expertise creates organizational influence. So when you reach a certain level of expertise, people will listen to you, they will obey you, and that's how you can exercise that expert power. Fourth is your reward power. This happens, right, when you have the ability to, provide any kind of benefits, incentives, or rewards, or maybe any kind of recognition. When you hold these kind of abilities, you can exercise your reward power. For example, here, a sales manager promises incentives for achieving quarterly targets. Employees increase efforts because rewards are linked to performance. So the sales manager has that, authority that he can give out incentives for achieving quarterly targets. So by the virtue of that, the employees also try to work hard, and they feel, okay, if I achieve my target or whatever, I will get that benefit or that incentive. So in this scenario, the sales manager has that reward power source. Through that, he is exercising that power. Okay. Fifth is your coercive power. It refers to the ability to punish, threaten, or impose negative consequences. Now, often what happens is that there are certain people who hold that power where that they can, punish you or threaten you. Can any of you give me one example of coercive power? Daily life में देखते होगे आप लोग. Social example, I'm asking a personal example. डेली लाइफ में आपको कोई दिखता होगा जो एक कोर्सिव पावर आपको एक्सरसाइज कर सकता है आपके ऊपर. एनी गेसेस?
मैम कोर्सिव पावर को एक बार दोबारा से डिफाइन करना.
बेटा, कोर्सिव पावर का बेसिकली मतलब होता है ऐसा पावर सोर्स जिससे किसी के पास एक वो कैपेबिलिटी होती है कि वो आपको पनिश कर सकता है, थ्रेटन कर सकता है, नेगेटिव कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस दिखा सकता है, पेनल्टी लगा सकता है. आप समझ में आया?
मैम
मतलब
वो तो मैनेजर या फिर है ना सुपरवाइजर हो सकता है ना.
कौन हो सकता है? सॉरी
मैम मैनेजर या फिर सुपरवाइजर.
हाँ, ये तो प्रोफेशनल एग्जांपल हो गया. राइट, यू आर राइट, मैनेजर सुपरवाइजर हो सकता है. करेक्ट, एब्सोल्युटली.
ट्रैफिक पुलिस में
एग्जैक्टली, मैं ट्रैफिक पुलिस की बात कर रही थी. सोशल सिनेरियो में कोई इंसान जो एक अपना कोर्सिव पावर यूज कर सकता है, वो है हमारे ट्रैफिक पुलिस वाले, जिनको दिल्ली की भाषा में हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं?
मामा जी और या फिर ठुल्ला।
ठुल्ला। हाँ, एग्जैक्टली। सो ये वो लोग होते हैं जो एक अपनी कोर्स से पार एक्सरसाइज कर सकते हैं। एंड फॉर्मल प्रोफेशनल सिनेरियो में तो सबको ही पता है, इफ यू हैव अ बैड बॉस, इफ यू हैव अ नॉट सो गुड सीनियर, यू विल गेट थ्रेटन्ड थ्रू डिफरेंट मीन्स, राइट? So, for example, like I've shared here, a factory supervisor threatens wage deductions for late attendance. Employees comply due to fear of punishment. So, in this case, compliance occurs, by occurs forcefully. It occurs through coercion. Coercion का मतलब या coercive का मतलब ही होता है जबरदस्ती. ठीक है. So here in this scenario, compliance या obedience या one person is obeying not because he or she wants to, but प्रेशर में आके. ठीक है. Now the sixth one is your informational power. Now it happens that this kind of power source happens when you have some kind of valuable information available with you. You have some kind of strategic knowledge or any advantage that you have available with you, which can benefit the others. Okay. For example, the HR department knows confidential promotional policies before employees. This information gives HR strategic influence within the organization. Right? You guys can completely relate to the setup that HR has that informational power. Right? They have this authority where they know everything about everybody and they are not supposed to share it with anyone. So in this scenario, this one becomes your informational power. Now, before moving ahead, can somebody tell me the difference between the expertise power and the emotional power? अगर अभी तक आपको ये concept ये छह forms अगर समझ में आए हो तो, can you tell me how is expertise power different from your informational power?
मैम एक्सपर्ट पावर में तो स्पेशलाइज्ड नॉलेज या फिर स्किल्स चाहिए होती है.
Great, okay. And informational power में क्या चाहिए? तो यहाँ लिखा है.
मैम करंट अफेयर जो उस सर्कल में चल रहे हो.
Right, right. Perfect. Great. तो मतलब आप लोग को फर्क समझ में आ गया है. Terrific. चलो, moving on. This is one, and a combined example of, इसमें ये बताना चाह रहे हैं कि सारे जितने भी पावर्स हमने पढ़े हैं वो कैसे काम करते हैं. ठीक है. An individual may possess multiple power bases simultaneously. Okay, this is an established fact that a CEO can hold a legitimate power also, the reward power also, emotional as well as informational as well as your referent power as well. ठीक है. Now, the effectiveness of these power sources, it just depends on the kind of organization culture that is there, how employees perceive that particular CEO, what kind of leadership style that CEO has, and what kind of situation they are right now in. Okay? This was about your different forms of power. Now we will talk about your power tactics. ये भी बहुत interesting concept है. Okay. And okay, one more thing, since some of you have also joined, I just wanted to tell you that this is the second last class. Right now we are on to chapter lesson 4. I shall try to finish lesson 5 by the last class. And also you have a revision class on 21st of May. Right, we will try to cover the topics that have been left out, and we will also try to go through certain case studies. So what I would request all of you is that by the time the last class is over, which is on the 14th May, I will try to send you across all the chapters that we have covered, basically the notes of all the syllabus. Please go through those notes. And if you feel there is something lacking, just let me know. If you want to, try to cover a case study for any particular topic, if you want to work on a case study for any particular topic, just let me know so that we can do that as well. मेरे को आप mail कर दोगे तो I can be prepared with the case study for the topic beforehand, right? Before the revision class starts. ठीक है? Your revision class is on 31st. Yes,
Okay, ma'am.
somebody saying? Okay.
मैम इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन नहीं है इसमें. रिगार्डिंग मतलब एक साथ आप इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन बता देते ना कि इम्पोर्टेंट कौन कौन से एग्जाम के लिए।
ठीक है, मैं वो भी ट्राई करती हूँ, आपको बता दूंगी। एंड जैसे अभी मैंने ये मिलग्रिम वाला कराया तो मैंने आपको बता दिया कि वो 2024 के पेपर में आया था, वो क्वेश्चन जो अभी हमने मिलग्रिम एक्सपेरिमेंट किया उस पे पूछा गया था, तो वो आया हुआ है। सो that is considered important, and this anyways this chapter is also very important because it has a lot of underlinings which are a lot of techniques which are related to your group dynamics in general. Okay, so this is how I want to go about. I just wanted to repeat myself while you all, whoever of you are here, you can further convey this message to rest of your peer members as well, that we'll have a revision class on 21st wherein we can have a run through of all the lessons. See, it's like either you guys tell me how you want that revision class to happen, or I will, make a, flow chart for the same. It can happen either of the way. या तो आप बता दो कैसे करना है, या तो मैं अपने हिसाब से कर लूँ. तो मैं जो करने वाली हूँ, I was just trying to share you with that कि I will try to take up a case study, 1 or 2 case study pertaining to each lesson, because वो मैं अभी chapters में नहीं करा पाई हूँ. ठीक है, फुलफिल पूरा नहीं हो पाया, तो मेरा वो प्लान था. और जो टॉपिक्स अगर रह गए हैं वो हम कवर कर सकते हैं. एंड उसके अलावा इफ यू गाइस हैव एनी क्वेरीज और यू वांट any case studies for any particular topic, or you want to discuss any particular topic, that we can do. Okay?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. So does anybody else wants to say something, add on something, or give any kind of suggestion or anything?
मैं अभी तो 2 चैप्टर रह गए ना, 5 and 6.
5 and 6 नहीं, 5 ही है.
5 ही है.
हाँ, एक बार चेक करना. Do you guys have that?
मैम ये तो है द नेचर ऑफ टीम्स एंड द टीम डेवलपमेंट.
1 minute, yeah, just 1 minute. Right. डायनामिक्स हो गया 5. ओ हाँ, सॉरी, 5 and 6 रह गए. हाँ, तो हाँ मैं यही बोल रही हूँ. सॉरी, मैंने गलत बोल दिया. माय बैड, माय अपॉलॉजीज. मैं यही कह रही हूँ कि इस ये वाले लेसन में तो हम ये पूरा कर लेंगे. एंड लास्ट चैप्टर में आई ट्राई टू फिनिश द लास्ट 2 चैप्टर्स. सॉरी, वो मैं गलत बोल गई. आई ट्राई टू फिनिश द लास्ट 2 चैप्टर्स बिकॉज लास्ट वाला चैप्टर लेसन 6 छोटा सा है, बहुत बड़ा नहीं है. So I will try to finish lesson 5 and 6 in the last class, which is 1 week from now, which is on your 14th May. And today I'm trying to focus fully on this particular chapter because ये है काफी important भी है, और एग्जाम पर्सपेक्टिव से इसमें से क्वेश्चंस आपको अच्छे खासे वो आ सकते हैं to write good long answers. ठीक है? So my bad. I'm sorry, Aditi. Thanks for pointing out. I will finish lesson 5 and 6 in the last class. And जो भी रह जा रहा है, like chapter 3 का वो हमारे 2 जो topics रह गए, that I will send you across through notes because that is something which you can do on your own as well. But अगर आपको कोई भी doubt or query हो, please send me a mail back. I hope you all have my mail ID. और नहीं तो you can जब मैं आपको notes भेजूंगी, then you can you'll get it. ठीक है? So anybody
Yes.
else? चलो, बहुत
Okay.
बढ़िया. ठीक है जी. अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. अब हम पावर टैक्टिक्स समझते हैं. टैक्टिक्स से क्या समझ में आता है आप लोगों को? अगर मैं पूछूं टैक्टिक्स का मतलब क्या है, तो टैक्टिक्स मतलब क्या होता है?
मैम लाइक कोई ऑब्जेक्टिव.
क्या? फिर से बोलना. सॉरी.
मैम ऑब्जेक्टिव या फिर कोई एजेंडा.
ओके. मतलब बेसिकली तरीका, एक तरह से ना कोई चीज करने का तरीका हो गया. ऑब्जेक्टिव और एजेंडा तो हो गया कि अच्छा हमें ये करना है, हमारा गोल हो गया. बट टैक्टिक्स मतलब हो गया कि किसी चीज को किस तरीके से करना है. क्या करना है तो नहीं, बट तरीका क्या है, मोडस ऑपरेंडी क्या होगा हमारा. ठीक है? तो बेसिकली हमने ये पढ़ा पहले कि पावर क्या होती है. फिर हमने ये पढ़ा कि पावर कहाँ कहाँ से आता है. बिजली वाला नहीं, पावर का सोर्स मतलब पावर मतलब the kind of power that we have, our capability to use our authority. So that power. अब हम ये पढ़ रहे हैं कि हम अपने पावर को किस तरीके से यूज कर सकते हैं, to influence any kind of basically to influence. So be it an individual, be it the group, or be it any kind of behavior, be it any kind of attitude, or be it any kind of decisions of others. Okay? So now we have come to पावर टैक्टिक्स, तरीके देखेंगे कि पावर को किन तरीकों से यूज किया जा सकता है। इसके पहले सोर्स हमने पढ़ा था पावर का, और इसके पहले फॉर्म पढ़ा था, और इसके पहले पढ़ा था कि पावर बेसिकली होती क्या है। ठीक है। Now, organizations often use power tactics to achieve their goals. They use it to solve conflicts. They use it to secure compliance. ठीक है. Now, there are six different ways of power tactics. Okay. Each set will go hand in hand. ठीक है. First set is your soft and hard power tactics. Second is your rational and non-rational power tactics. Third is your unilateral and bilateral power tactics. ठीक है. चलो, first we will talk about our soft and hard power tactics, right? अब यहाँ पे क्या होता है, this kind of tactic or this method, the soft one relies on your persuasion, collaboration, or the kind of emotional appeal that you have over the rest of the crowd or the rest of the group. For example, a manager motivates employees through appreciation, team discussions, participation in decisions, and hence the employees cooperate willingly. So यहाँ पे एक soft approach, एक मेलो अप्रोच यूज होया जा रहा है पार को यूज करने के लिए. ठीक है. सेकंड बिकम्स योर हार्ड सेकंड द अदर पार्ट ऑफ इट बिकम्स योर हार्ड पावर टैक्टिक्स. हियर इट इन्वॉल्व्स यूजिंग योर प्रेशर, यूजिंग योर थ्रेट, you use your you use your demands, you threaten them with economic consequences, and you use your authority. तो अभी तक हमने जितने फॉर्म्स वगैरह पढ़े उसमें हमें ये समझ में आया कि उस फॉर्म में से ये तरीके निकल के आते हैं जो हार्ड पावर टैक्टिक्स का पार्ट बनते हैं. ठीक है. इन दिस सिनेरियो दीज टैक्टिक्स दे फोर्स कंप्लायंस. पहला वाला था जो विलिंगली या वॉलंटरीली हो रहा था. People voluntarily agreed to, or they voluntarily cooperated, but in this scenario they are doing it forcefully. Although hard tactics, they may provide quick results, but they also damage trust, they reduce morale, and they may increase turnover. ठीक है. For example, a supervisor threatens poor performance ratings if employees refuse overtime work. Employees comply, but due to pressure. ठीक है. So the supervisor is just threatening ki I will give you bad rating or whatever, I will ruin your appraisal time and everything. So because if you do not adhere to the overtimings, so in this scenario the employees agree कि चलो भाई कर ही लेते हैं. जबरदस्ती का coercive उसने अपना coercive power form type use किया and ये लोग मान गए. ठीक है. Second set is your rational tactics. ठीक है. This one is based on logic, facts, evidence, reasoning, and your objective arguments. Now, in this scenario, the influence that works here is based on your rational persuasion. Soft वाले में क्या था, you are trying to convince someone emotionally, you're trying to influence them emotionally. यहाँ पे आप logic use कर रहे हो, rational facts use कर रहे हो. A marketing manager uses consumer research data to convince management to launch a new product. Most apt example ki the marketing manager basically uses the data and tells them ki okay, we can use we can launch a certain kind of product because data wise speaking there is a need for this, right? Second one which becomes part of the first set, this set is that your non-rational tactics. Now this depends on emotional manipulation, ingratiation, misinformation, and psychological pressure. इनग्रेसिएशन मीनिंग बेसिकली एक तरीका होता है जिसमें एक इंसान वही बात कहता है लोगों से जो लोग सुनना चाहते हैं, और वो वही बात बोलता है जिससे लोग उससे इम्प्रेस हो जाएं. बेसिकली हम बहुत लोगों को देखते हैं ना, वो वही बोलते हैं जो हम सुनना चाहते हैं, या बहुत ज्यादा दे आर वेरी गुड विद वर्ड्स. तो ये जो एक तरीका होता है उसको बोलते हैं इनग्रेसिएशन. ठीक है. इन्फ्लुएंस अकर्स थ्रू इमोशनल अपील रादर देन मेरिट. So, and for example, an employee excessively flatters the boss to gain promotion opportunities. यहाँ तक आप समझ गए, right? Anybody wants to ask anything or add on anything?
मैम लाइक आपने हर एक टॉपिक हर एक पॉइंट्स के बाद एग्जाम्पल दे रखा है, तो हमें एग्जाम में भी ऐसे ही एग्जाम्पल देना पड़ेगा हर एक पॉइंट्स के बाद?
यस, एब्सोल्युटली एब्सोल्युटली। देखो, कोई भी कॉन्सेप्ट आपसे अगर वो पूछेंगे तो मैं हमेशा यही सजेशन दूंगी, आप कोई भी कॉन्सेप्ट एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हो, अगर प्लीज यूज एक्सप्लेन इट थ्रू एन एग्जाम्पल। जैसे मैं कोई भी आपको कॉन्सेप्ट समझा रही हूँ तो एक एग्जाम्पल दे दी, राइट? तो क्या हो रहा है कि कई बार अगर कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, एग्जाम्पल है तो एग्जाम्पल से समझ में आ जा रहा है। ठीक है, तो आई विल ऑलवेज सजेस्ट यू ऑल, वरना तो अपने मन की कर सकते हो, बट मैं यही सजेस्ट करूंगी, वेन एवर यू राइट आंसर्स ऑलवेज यूज एग्जाम्पल्स। एक तो उससे आंसर की लेंथ भी बढ़ जाएगी एंड इट बिकम्स वेरी इंप्रेसिव। नेवर राइट एन आंसर विदाउट। उससे पता है क्या होगा कि एग्जामिनर को ये समझ में आ जाए कि भाई सामने वाले को, स्टूडेंट को कॉन्सेप्ट समझ में आ गया है। एंड जब आपको कॉन्सेप्ट समझ में आ जाएगा ना, तो ऑटोमेटिकली आप आंसर्स लिख लोगे। ठीक है, तो हम इस चीज पे भी बात करेंगे अपने रिवीजन क्लासेस में। दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज ट्राइंग टू टेल यू ऑल, कि वी विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ डू वी अटेम्प्ट आंसर्स। सो द बेस्ट आई कैन टेल यू इज दैट just try to give as many as examples as possible. Like for one concept keep 1 or 2 examples, long answers में 2 रख लो, एक ही example पकड़ के उस पे अपना सारा आंसर का बेसिस बना लो। ठीक है, so if you do that, मार्क्स भी मिल जाएंगे और आंसर का लेंथ भी अच्छा हो जाता है। इट रियली हेल्प्स, एग्जांपल्स आर द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग दैट यू कैन गिव, बिकॉज द at this level, at the semester that you're in, at the final level, this is the kind of answer quality which is expected of you people. Okay, so best is to give try giving simple professional examples, or if you can't think of any, maybe take an example from the current scenario आसपास में, or something that you've come across while working. So whoever is working, I'm sure they must be having certain examples which they can relate to their current study material. So try relating like that and then write your answers. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So this is the second set of power tactics, which is about your rational and non-rational. Right? Now moving on to the third set, which is your bilateral tactics and non-bilateral tactics. Okay? Bilateral tactics is about requiring participation from both the parties. इसमें आ जाता है आपका negotiation, discussion, persuasion, collaboration, and here there is an involvement of mutual interaction. मतलब basically दोनों पार्टी बैठ के बात करती है तो वो एक दूसरे को influence करती है through the power that they hold. Now, for example, here as given, management and labor union negotiate salary revisions through discussion. तो यहाँ पे ये जो टैक्टिक यूज हो रहा है वो बायलैटरल टैक्टिक है। नॉन बायलैटरल टैक्टिक बेसिकली बिकम्स योर, यू कैन आल्सो से यूनिलैटरल, मतलब वन डायरेक्शनल। Non-bilateral tactic becomes it's something which is used independently without consultation, such as any kind of direct order, any policy implementation, or any demands. So in this scenario, decision making is one-sided. It is not two-sided. For example, a CEO implements restructuring without consulting employees. So this exercise, this kind of power exercise, this type, this strategy or this method is your non-bilateral. Okay. So far, are we good? Anybody wants to ask anything or any say anything? कुछ भी?
मैम नॉन बायलैटरल पावर को यूनिलेटरल पावर भी कह सकते हैं?
You know what? Stick to non-bilateral only. Unilateral रहने दो. Just remember one term जो आपका दिया हुआ है. Although I will look up for it, because usually bilateral को opposite तो unilateral ही होता है. But इस context में I will just check and let you know कि if you can use that term or not. ठीक है? I don't want to give you wrong information, so I will not, give a go ahead कि use कर ले. But it's better कि stick to bilateral and non-lateral. But I'll let you know, huh? Maybe in the next class I'll let you know. So, guys, this is I've tried to make a table of the same. एक बार आप लोग पढ़ लो, ये ब्रीफ में है जो हमने ये 6 सेट्स, बिकॉज बहुत सारी चीजों के बहुत बहुत कैटेगरीज हो गए, सो जस्ट टू अवॉइड एनी काइंड ऑफ कंफ्यूजन, सो दैट वी कैन रिमेम्बर कि हम किस स्टेज पे हैं, रोड मैप में कौन से माइलस्टोन पे पहुंच रहे हैं हम अपने चैप्टर के। तो आई हैव जस्ट मेड दिस टेबल, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड थ्रू दिस टेबल जो हमने अलग अलग पावर टैक्टिक्स अभी पढ़े हैं। जस्ट रीड इट थ्रू एंड लेट मी नो इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेरी। इसको मैं ना नॉन बायलैटरली कर देती हूँ. I don't think I should put 1 minute. Just have a read, and because this is brief of whatever we've studied, right? So in that case, you can let me know if you have any doubts or any queries. We can, Aditi, I think you're right. We can use this as non-lateral or unilateral only. We can say both. Maybe I'll make this unilateral only because book may be way there, so let's stick to that. Tactics, yes. Okay. एक बार आप ये table देख लो, पढ़ लो, and let me know if you have any query or anything. And please give me just 5 minutes. I'll come back in 5 minutes. Okay. Have you all gone through this table?
Yes, ma'am.
Any queries or anything? Anybody wants to ask anything? Okay, chalo, फिर moving on. Now we will talk about the second part of this lesson, which is the influence processes. Basically, it means कि हमारे पास power है, हमारे को पता है कि हमारे power sources क्या हैं, फिर हमें ये भी पता है कि हमें कौन सा तरीका यूज करना है. तो अब नेक्स्ट स्टेप क्या होता है कि दिस रेफर्स कि कौन सा इंसान उस पावर को कितने इफेक्टिवली यूज कर रहा है. That is what influence processes is all about. So what do we understand from influence in this context, in our HR context? This refers to the ability of an individual or group or organization to affect the behavior, attitude, beliefs, decisions, or actions of others, right? Basically it in any organizational setting, it is the influence is the practical outcome of power. So first of all, you know what is power. You understood the kinds of it, the different types of power that you have, the sources that you have. How will you exercise that power? How will you, what methods you will use to exercise that power? And then comes your influence processes. Basically कि जब आप पावर को यूज कर रहे हो तो उसका रिजल्ट क्या आ रहा है. That is what influence processes is about. ठीक है, अभी तक यहाँ पे आई होप किसी को कोई क्वेरी, आई मीन आई होप ना हो. अगर है तो प्लीज हाँ मेरे को बता दो. I can sort it out because I am trying to keep it connected as much as possible. Words भारी भारी हम यूज कर लेते हैं, but basic meaning अगर हम समझ जाए तो there is उसके बाद प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती है आंसर्स लिखने में या कॉन्सेप्ट समझने में. Okay. So basically,
Yes.
okay. Influence processes, they help they help the leaders in guiding the employees towards any organizational goal. Power represents your capacity to influence, whereas influence represents the actual exercise of that power. ठीक है. पार से ये समझ में आता है कि किसकी कितनी औकात है भाई, कितना क्या कर सकता है. ठीक है. अब वो उस औकात को कैसे इंसान एक्सरसाइज करता है, वो आपका इन्फ्लुएंस का पार्ट होता है. ठीक है. Now let's understand the relationship between power and influence. Now what is power? It is the ability, potential ability to affect others, and influence is your actual process of affecting others. Call it a process, call it the outcome, but it is how the whole thing happens. Power is the source of authority or control. Here, influence is the application of that authority or persuasion or control. Okay? Power can happen, exist without action. Influence requires your behavioral impact. I mean, power is there. It is there. You don't need to, act on it every time. But when it comes to using that power, that's where influence comes into play. Okay? So, for example, like I said before, also a CEO may possess legitimate power because of his possession, but influence occurs when the employees actually change their behavior, their attitudes, or their decision based on the CEO's directions. I hope now you got an idea what is power, what is influence, right? So basically, power is the capacity of exercising that, and influence is that the process or the outcome of it. Okay? Now, why is
Yes, ma'am.
why is influence important in a leadership? Okay, it is important. Why? Because it helps us in implementing decisions. It helps us in motivating employees, building cooperation, taking care of conflicts. Right. So basically, a leader without influence may hold authority but fails to inspire the action. मतलब एक लीडर है उसको वो पावर तो मिल गई है बट अगर जब तक उस पावर को वो यूज नहीं करेगा he will not be able to make any kind of change. He will not be able to influence or he will not be able to do these mentioned things that have been given here, right? Now, what is the scope of influence? Till what extent can one use that influence? कहाँ तक जा सकता है ये influence? So influence, it's not just restricted to people only. It can also influence your organizational culture. It can influence your group norms, whatever your group rules are, whatever your conventions are. It can also influence any kind of event. It can influence your decisions, values, or also your workplace attitudes. Now, what does influence usually do? It leads to a behavioral change. It can also lead to attitude change. It can lead to value alignment and goal orientation. ठीक है? Okay, moving on. What are the different ways through which you can use influence? What are the different methods, right? You can use it through persuasion. You can use it as a negotiation. You can use it through emotional appeal. You can use your authority. You can use your communication skills, right? So these are the various methods through which you can use influence and bring that change. For example, a marketing head convinces employees to adopt AI-based analytics by presenting market data, demonstrating by see first of all he's presenting market data, he's demonstrating the benefits of AI, and he's also addressing the concerns. So in this case, he is influencing through a rational method and through expert credibility. What he's trying to do is that he is exercising his power, right? But through that power, he's also sharing data. Okay, his power source is data driven also, which is information. He's also telling them about benefits. He's using that reward wala aspect also, and he's also addressing concern. So in this scenario, he is using all the rational ways and his expertise to convince them to adopt AI based analytics. Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we have another theory coming up. This one is about the Kelman's theory of influence. This happened way back many years ago in 1958, right? Here, what Mr. Herbert Kelman is trying to tell you is that the social, whatever the social influence or whatever influence that we have, it can change us in certain different ways. He said that it can change us in three different ways. Also, which can be your compliance, which can be your identification, and third is your internalization. Now, these are the different levels of acceptance and your behavioral transformation. अब बात समझो यहाँ पे हमने अभी तक ये बात की कि इन्फ्लुएंस क्या चीज है, इन्फ्लुएंस प्रोसेस क्या चीज है. इन्फ्लुएंस प्रोसेस से क्या होता है, कोई भी एटीट्यूड चेंज आता है या बिहेवियर चेंज आता है. ठीक है. तो मिस्टर हर्बर्ट कैलमन ने फिर 1958 में ये बोला कि हम इन्फ्लुएंस को यूज तो कर रहे हैं, बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन फिर उसने अपनी जो थ्योरी लगाई, उसने ये बोला कि ये जो हम इन्फ्लुएंस को यूज कर रहे हैं, मतलब पहले हम पावर को यूज कर रहे हैं, उससे इन्फ्लुएंस आ रहा है। इन्फ्लुएंस से हम जो भी चीजें चेंज करना चाह रहे हैं, इफेक्ट करना चाह रहे हैं, वो इन 3 स्टेजेस में होती है। या तो वो सिर्फ कंप्लायंस पे आके रुक जाएगी, या तो वो आइडेंटिफिकेशन बनेगी, नहीं तो वो इंटरनलाइजेशन बनेगी। ठीक है, आप लोगों ने एक काम जरूर करना, आपके बुक में जो ये चैप्टर है, करंट चैप्टर जिस पे हम हैं अभी, कैलमन्स थ्योरी के बाद एक बहुत अच्छी केस स्टडी है which talks about all these three attitude change types, attitude change forms. So just go through that after this class if you get time, because that is something which will help you in understanding the concept better. ठीक है, so just go through that case study, it's very interesting. So now let's understand Kelman's theory of influence, what he's trying to tell you. He's saying that there are 3 processes of attitude change, or there are 3 forms. First becomes your compliance. Okay. In this, what happens is that when the individuals change their behavior due to any kind of pressure, external pressure, or any kind of authority exercised upon them, or maybe any direct request, or maybe in expectation of any rewards and punishments. Okay. First is your compliance wala. Second becomes your identification. Third becomes your internalization. So because due to paucity of time, we do not have ample time. What I've done is that I've also made a table for the same. Okay. I will suggest you guys कि go through this again when I share it with you. अभी एक बार आप ये table पढ़ लो थोड़ा सा, and if you want we can discuss it, or if you want I can try to explain you through the table only rather than going through the content. So what I can try and tell you here, I'm trying to tell you here is that we are trying to differentiate जो हमने 3 अभी पढ़े, उसमें compliance, identification और internalization 3 forms है। तो पहला वाला का मोटिवेशन सोर्स क्या है? पहला, लोग कंप्लायंस क्यों करते हैं? कोई रिवॉर्ड का होता है या फियर की वजह से लोग मानते हैं, इन्फ्लुएंस होते हैं। दूसरा है एडमिरेशन, आइडेंटिफिकेशन वाले फॉर्म में होता है कि आप किसी चीज को एडमायर करते हो तो उस चीज को मानते हो। जैसे चलो एग्जाम्पल मैं बाद में बता दूंगी। बेसिकली कहने का मतलब है कि जब आप किसी चीज को पसंद करते हो तो आप उस चीज में मानना चाहते हो। इसमें क्या होता है, आप पार्शली चेंज होते हो और सेमी पार्शली चेंज नहीं होते हो। ठीक है। थर्ड बिकम्स योर इंटरनलाइजेशन, मतलब इसमें क्या हुआ इंटरनलाइजेशन में कि आप जेन्युइन में जो भी आपको इन्फ्लुएंस किया जा रहा है आप उसमें उसको जेन्युइनली मानने लगते हो। तो इस केस में क्या होता है कि चेंज फ्रॉम विद इन actually happens at a deep level. Second पे अगर अब हम आए, when we are talking about the nature of change, we are trying to tell you here is that sorry, in compliance the change is superficial, ऊपर ऊपर से होता है। आइडेंटिफिकेशन में इंसान बदलता है बट वो आधा बदलता है और आधा नहीं भी बदलता है। इंटरनलाइजेशन में इंसान एक्चुअल में ग्रास रूट लेवल से उस चीज को, अपनी चीज को इन्फ्लुएंस होके चेंज कर देता है। कंप्लायंस में ड्यूरेशन क्या होता है इस चेंज का? टेम्पररी, ज्यादा टाइम नहीं रहता है। आइडेंटिफिकेशन के मामले में चेंज जो ये रहता है वो मॉडरेट होता है, हल्का फुल्का। और इंटरनलाइजेशन की बात करें तो इसमें काफी लंबा ये चेंज एग्जिस्ट करता है। अब व्हाट यूजुअली इज द सोर्स ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस? कंप्लायंस फॉर्म के मामले में होता है अथॉरिटी, किसी ने अगर आपको बोला है तो आप उसकी बात मान के खुद को चेंज कर रहे हो थोड़े टाइम के लिए। आइडेंटिफिकेशन में होता है कि आप बिकॉज यू लुक अप टू somebody, you are influenced by somebody, you're fond of somebody, so you want to bring that change inside you. And when it comes to the third form, it is about credibility and values. यहाँ पे बात ये हो रही है कि जब आप किसी को एक्चुअल में बिलीव करते हो कि हाँ भाई सामने वाले के पास दैट पर्सन इज क्रेडिबल, दैट पर्सन इज रिलायबल, उसके जो भी वैल्यूज हैं। मतलब फैंस क्रिकेटर्स को क्यों फॉलो करते हैं खुद को, या कोई भी स्पोर्ट्स फनाटिक होता है वो क्यों फॉलो करता है? बिकॉज ही आइडेंटिफाइज विद देम, उसको लगता है अच्छा वो क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं मैं भी क्रिकेट खेल रहा हूँ। इंटरनलाइजेशन की जब हम बात करें, जो हमारे रोल मॉडल्स हैं हम उनको इसलिए मानते हैं ना कि हमें लगता है कि अगर हम इनकी सारी चीजें फॉलो करेंगे तो इवेंचुअली एक दिन हम इनके जैसे बन जाएंगे। तो ये हमारा होता है आइडेंटिफिकेशन वाला कैटेगरी। ठीक है। पर्सनल एक्सेप्टेंस की अगर बात करें, जो यहाँ पे बात हो रही है कि सामने वाला सामने वाला ये पर्सनल एक्सेप्टेंस अगर बोलें कि हम ये देखना चाहें कि सामने वाले का हैबिट कितना चेंज हो रहा है इन्फ्लुएंस की वजह से, तो कंप्लायंस के मामले में लो रहता है। ठीक है, आइडेंटिफिकेशन के मामले में कह लो पार्शियल रहता है, इंसान अंदर से मानता भी है और नहीं भी मानता है। बट जब थर्ड कैटेगरी की बात होती है इंटरनलाइजेशन की, तब वो बहुत हाई पर्सनल एक्सेप्टेंस होता है। वो इंसान अंदर से मान गया होता है, अंदर से कन्विंस हो गया होता है कि हाँ, अगर मैं ऐसे ऐसे बात मानूंगा तो मेरे साथ ऐसे ऐसे होगा। ठीक है, सो दिस इज जस्ट अ ब्रीफ। इसके पहले मैंने पूरा कुछ डिटेल में दिया हुआ है। Just go through it when you get the notes, and if you still have any queries, please get back to me through the email. So this is just a brief of Kelvin's theory, that he's talking about that how leaders can influence your attitudes and also why employees obey them. ठीक है, and also this model demonstrates that influence can move from external obedience to internal value acceptance as well. So basically compliance से internalization पे आप धीरे धीरे जा सकते हो if your leader is good enough and if your leader is effective enough. ठीक है, and there is more to it. There's this example also, which chalo, I'll just tell you in brief. So here we are talking about customer first culture. A company is trying to exercise their customer first culture. ठीक है, इसमें हम ये बताना चाह रहे हैं कि ये जो अलग अलग स्टेजेस है वो कैसे पहुंचते हैं। तो पहला था एम्प्लॉइज फॉलो कस्टमर सर्विस प्रोटोकॉल्स, क्योंकि उनको बोला गया है, मैनेजमेंट उनको बार बार देख रहा है, चेक कर रहा है, तो वो कह रहे हैं कि ठीक है हम कस्टमर सर्विस प्रोटोकॉल मानेंगे। सेकंड में एम्प्लॉइज को उनकी लीडर की बात अच्छी लगने लगती है, उनको ये समझ में आता है कि अच्छा हमारा जो लीडर है वो खुद जो बोल रहा है वही कर रहा है, ही हिमसेल्फ इज प्रायोरिटाइजिंग द कस्टमर सेटिस्फैक्शन। तो इसलिए वो उस चीज से आइडेंटिफाई करने लगते हैं, कनेक्ट करने लगते हैं। And then third becomes your internalization, which is when they genuinely believe कि customer service is the main thing of it. It is the main, focus of our organization. So if we believe in that, and that is how we can achieve our organizational goal. So basically यहाँ पे यही कहा जा रहा है कि जो ये stages हैं अलग अलग, वो हम इन तरीकों से stage पे पहुंच सकते हैं। ठीक है, चलो, with this I have covered the major parts of it. We are just left with the influence tactics. It is similar to your power tactics, but उसमें थोड़ा alignment change हो जाएगा। मैं notes में इस चीज को add कर दूंगी। ठीक है, अगर आपको कोई doubt है या कुछ है, feel free to ask me through email or anything, but just go through it on your own, and then we can continue this further in the next class. I'll try to finish those 2 chapters. Okay, they are not much they're not that heavy, so I'll try to finish that. Okay, so with this we come to the end of lesson 4 and our class as well. Anybody wants to say anything or ask anything?
क्लास में आप कौन सा चैप्टर स्टार्ट करोगे?
नेक्स्ट क्लास में मैं चैप्टर 5 और 6 कंप्लीट करने का ट्राई करूंगी।
ओके,
ठीक है, चैप्टर 5 आपका ये हो गया, ग्रुप डिसीजन मेकिंग, ग्रुप कोहेसिवनेस वाला, एंड 6th इज योर नेचर ऑफ टीम एंड टीम डेवलपमेंट। ये दो I'll try to finish it as much as I can, otherwise I'll share the notes and we can come back and again discuss it further in our revision classes, which will happen on 21st. Okay,
यस मैम,
chalo, take care, good night.
ओके मैम, गुड नाइट।
Thank you, bye bye, good night.
ओके बाय मैम, टेक केयर।